Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about how to be healthy through the holidays. Thanksgiving is almost here, which means it is almost the official start of the holiday season. So I absolutely love the holidays. I know that I'm not alone in that. It's just such an amazing time of year to be surrounded by family and friends, and it's just so warm and joyful, and it's just such an awesome time. But that being said, when you are at these gatherings with friends and family and feeling warm and glowy and so happy, there is usually lots and lots of food that is not the healthiest, and there's a lot of temptation. So today I'm going to be sharing with you all of the tips and tricks that I have in my arsenal and that I do every single year around the holidays in order to remain healthy and not go totally overboard, but at the same time enjoy myself. Since the holidays only come once a year, that means a lot of different foods and treats that we like to enjoy during the holiday season are only around during this time of year. So by using all the tips that I'm sharing with you today, it should help you guys move through the holiday season while remaining healthy, but also enjoying yourself and all of the delicious treats that are out this time of year. So let's just jump in and get started going through my tips. These are all things that will be helpful throughout the holiday season, but specifically on those days where you are going to those parties and family gatherings and things like that. The very first tip I have is on the day that you're going to a party where you know there's going to be a lot of food and treats, get a workout in. It is so important and is so helpful to try and remain healthy at these different gatherings where you're surrounded by food if you have worked out that day. Obviously, by working out earlier in the day, you will have burned some calories, so you have a little bit more leeway as far as what you can eat when you go out. But more importantly, exercising really helps to just kind of balance out all of your hormones. It will help with appetite control, it will help with cravings, and it will help keep those urges to binge on all of that delicious food at bay. My next tip is to have a small healthy snack right before you go to any of these gatherings. This is helpful because it will kind of take the edge off of your hunger, so when you walk into the party, you don't feel ravenous and like you just want to eat everything in sight. You feel in control because you're not super hungry, and that way you can take your time and pick out what you want to eat. Also, I hear a lot of people say that when they know they're going to, Thanksgiving dinner or a holiday party where they're going to be eating a lot of food, they will just starve all day until they get there, so that way they save up all of those calories for that gathering or that meal. And that's actually going to work against you. If you don't eat anything that whole day leading up to that party, your blood sugar is going to be super low, which means you're going to have stronger cravings, you're going to have less appetite control, and you're likely going to end up going overboard. You're better off having normal healthy meals throughout the day, a small snack before you go. That way when you get there, you're not overly hungry and you can have what you want to until you feel satisfied, and it'll be much easier to stop. If you go in starving, if you go in ravenous, you're likely to completely overdo it. My next tip is super helpful when you actually arrive to the party and you're surrounded by all of that food. So whether you are surrounded by hors d'oeuvres, or maybe there's kind of a buffet situation going on, anywhere where there's just a lot of food laid out and where you have a lot of choices, my biggest tip here is before you pick up a single piece of food, before you grab one cracker or one hors d'oeuvre or anything, take a lap. Take inventory. See what's available, see what all the different foods are before you start eating. That way you can select the things that you really want to eat and have those and enjoy them. This will really help to keep you from not going overboard. If you think about it, if you arrive to a party and you start working your way around the room and you're taking a little bit of cheese and crackers here, a little bit of chips and dips here, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and then all of a sudden you see the baked brie, and you love baked brie. Who doesn't love baked brie? And you know you're going to have that baked brie. You would have been much better off if you had found out about that baked brie earlier on and just had that, or maybe that and one other thing, instead of working your way around the room, eating a little bit of everything, and then after you've already consumed God knows how many calories, you see the thing that you really want. And of course you're going to eat it anyway, right? Because it's the holidays and it's baked brie. Definitely take inventory beforehand. It will help you out so much. Decide what you really want to have that, enjoy it, and then move on. My next tip is kind of a simple one. I know that when we are at these family parties, these holiday parties, or Thanksgiving, or whatever it is, we are surrounded by food. But we are also surrounded by family and friends. So try your best just to focus on having conversations with everyone, catching up with everyone, seeing how everyone's doing. By focusing on that instead of so much the food aspect of the party, it will really keep you busy, and therefore you will end up just eating less. My next tip is a super important one, and it is all about just mindfully eating in general. So we're at the party, we've had some hors d'oeuvres and some snacks, and now it's time to sit down with family and friends and share a meal. The name of the game here is to enjoy the meal thoroughly, but then stop when you are full, and I have a few tips on how to do that. My first tip for eating mindfully is take some breaks while you're eating the meal. We get so used to the muscle memory of fork to food, fork to mouth, fork to food, fork to mouth. Sometimes we even forget what we are doing. So while you're sitting down to have that meal, take a couple breaks. Set the fork down, sit back for a second, take a breath, take a sip of a drink. Pretty much anything you can do to break that muscle memory or that motion is going to help you slow down. It's going to make you way more cognizant of how much you're actually eating and how full you're feeling. My second tip for mindful eating is start out with small portions. At holiday gatherings, there is usually always a ton of food and usually always the option for seconds. So going into the meal, tell yourself, I could have seconds if I really want them, but I'm not going to load up my plate now. If I want to go get more, there is more and I can get that if I want it, but I'm not going to start out with a ton of food. If you give yourself smaller portions to start, you're already starting off on a really good foot. Chances are, by the time you finish those small portions, after having some hors d'oeuvres and some wine or beer or whatever it is, you're probably going to be full enough and satisfied. So start off with smaller portions. If you really want more, there is always more, but start off small and then see how you feel from there. My third tip for mindful eating is just pay attention to your food. We get so wrapped up in, like I said before, just that motion of fork to food, fork to mouth, and it's just a constant cycle. Try and actually pay attention to what you're eating. Think about it. What does this taste like? What are the textures in my mouth? Anything that will get your focus on what you're eating, again, is going to make you more in tune with what you're eating. It's going to make you more cognizant of how full you're feeling. If you ignore all of those cues and you're just shoveling food in your face and talking and not paying attention at all, you're probably going to pass the point of fullness without even realizing it, and you're going to end up eating more food and therefore more calories than you need to actually feel satisfied in that moment. And then lastly, my fourth tip for mindfully eating is a very simple one, and that is when you are done, push your plate away. It is such a simple thing, but it is so effective. If our plate is just sitting right underneath of our face or right underneath of our eyes and our nose where we can see it and smell it, we are more likely to pick at it when we are finished. By pushing that plate just a few inches into the table, it's a really effective way to definitively tell yourself that, hey, I'm full, I'm done, and I'm not going to have any more. And then my very last tip has to do with everyone's favorite, dessert. So of course around the holidays there are always so many delicious desserts. Pies, cookies, fudge, chocolate covered pretzels, which are my personal weakness. There is just so many delicious treats to be had. Personally, I think there are kind of two ways that you can go about dessert to enjoy it but also not go overboard. The first way you can attack it is the same way I mentioned with the hors d'oeuvres. Take inventory of all of the desserts, see everything that's available to you, and then pick what you really want. Sometimes that works for me, but usually I want a little bit of everything. So in those situations, I will just take one small plate and I will tell myself that I can fill this one small plate with a little bit, just a little bit, that's key, of everything. So a tiny little slice of pie, one cookie, and then maybe one other thing, so I can have a few different things but I'm not going overboard. But that is really more portion control, so it really depends on your personality. If you would rather have one big old slice of cheesecake and enjoy every last bite, you go for it. But if you would rather have a little bit of a few things, then just give yourself a small, keyword small, plate or bowl or something like that, and a little bit of each thing that you really want, so you can try a few different things without having these massive portions and eating way too much dessert. So those are all of my tips on how to survive the holidays while still being healthy. If you did not pick up on the underlying theme throughout this video, it is just to enjoy yourself, but don't go overboard. You can have whatever you want, just watch how much you're eating, watch your portions, and listen to your body when it tells you I'm full, we should stop now. The holiday season will eventually end and things will go back to normal, so just do the best you can to enjoy yourself during it without totally, screwing yourself over and taking 10 steps back that you have to then go fix when the holiday season does end. And on that note of the holiday season coming to an end, this is a tip that I left out, but I think it's very important. Get rid of the leftovers. Get them out of the house. That is always my biggest weakness. At all the parties, I feel in control, I enjoy what I want, and then I stop when I'm full and I'm feeling fine about it. But then there's something about just the leftovers in the house. I know they're there. Some leftovers in the fridge, a tin of cookies over there. it's just bad news. When the holiday season does end, you really want that clean slate. You want to just be able to snap back into your normal routine of eating healthy and not indulging quite so much. And by just getting the leftovers out so they're out of sight, out of mind, and no longer an option, I think that's really, really helpful. That is all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I wish you the happiest of holidays. No matter what it is that you celebrate, I hope that it's amazing. I hope that you're able to spend time with family and friends and really just soak in all the feels of the holiday season. If you guys have yet to follow me on Instagram and Snapchat, please make sure to do so. I'm on there pretty much every day and would love to see you guys on there. And of course, if you guys have yet to subscribe to my channel, definitely make sure to do so. Go hit that button right now. I would love it if you guys could join this little community that I have going here. But again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means so much to me. I hope you have an amazing holiday season, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!